Good morning, everyone. I'll be showing you today how to kill Medusa. So Medusa is worthwhile doing at the very least if you need the amulet because of the unique value with increased critical hit rate. Some of you might also want to consider using the full set, but that's entirely up to how you want to build it. But then it's important to know what to do once you actually get to Medusa so that you can go in on higher difficulties, whether it's to purchase or to farm. So at this point, if you manage to reach this far in the parallel worlds, you already unlocked everything. So you should be familiar with the 3-map system. It's just that for this particular parallel world, both of the maps that they have are especially large and rather tedious to do. So for map 1, you don't actually need to kill everything. All you need to do is click on the question marks and kill the thing that spawns, if it spawns. That said, you only need 5 of the fragment drops. Every single time you click a question mark, you're not guaranteed a spawn, but if you do get a spawn, you're guaranteed a drop. So you can just run past most of the monsters, assuming that you will survive, and just focus on clicking on these actual objects. And as you can see, I didn't get anything here, which is fine. Now while you're in here, if you are fighting the monsters, your priority targets are the archers, just because they deal a great deal of damage. And then as you get further down, you're going to get stone golems as well. Stone golems would fall secondary to the actual archers themselves, just because they're actually quite slow, and therefore that makes it possible to dodge their attacks. So while they hurt a lot, they're dodgeable. But as for the archers, if you don't have speed boots yet, chances are you can't dodge them, or at least not dodge them very well. Fortunately, as large as this map is, there's a few jump points, so you already saw me hop over that wall over there. There's one right here, which I'll get to once I'm done killing all of this. Right here. So just stand in this corner and aim your cursor a little bit to the left. I usually have to just kind of blindly point my cursor somewhere and press jump a few times, and eventually I'll go down. You can see those archers really do hurt. And since I don't have a taunt on my guardian, I have to now be super careful now that my HP is almost all gone. Now on the chance that you do spawn one of those snake people from clicking one of the question marks, make sure you don't stand right next to them when they spawn, because they have multiple stuns, and one of them is pretty much like a small little AoE where if you're standing too close you'll automatically be hit. And then there's also one where it looks like this purple bar that they stab you with, so it's not a good idea to stand next to them. I like it when champions teleport right into my singularity for me. Right, so here we go. So you can move aside, otherwise you'll be hit. So there's a few choices. If you don't have speed boots, it's a lot harder to play this map because you have a lot of repositioning you need to do in order to avoid attacks. So just don't stand next to things, or else you have to stun them as soon as they spawn. So I'm at 1 out of 5. And I'll see if I can make it without having to backtrack. Usually I do, but this might be a first. You never know. Luckily they've changed it, so nowadays the champion, or the monster that spawns from clicking the question mark, has a circle around it so that it's immune to the effects of mind control. It used to be that you would actually mind control it, which would kind of defeat the purpose of killing it. So that's really quite helpful for spell weavers. Now that said, if you decide not to pick up all the fragments and you leave them on the ground, you can continue to spawn any of the question marks that you want, as many as you want, until they're all gone. So, I mean, if for some weird reason you really wanted to farm items in the parallel world, which I don't know why you would, because there's better places to farm, that would be, you know, a decent idea where you can just continuously spawn them and get a few green or blue items every few moments as you click on these question marks as you go. So I'm just backtracking because I realize I won't have enough fragments, so that's why I've gone backwards. Not because I really enjoy clearing this map. And since I'm all the way over here now anyways, I guess we'll jump over and clear out this part. And since I've already cleared pretty much everything else down there, may as well mount up and run for it. Okay, so once you've got all 5 fragments, you're going to see one last question mark at the very end. Now this question mark is, once you click it, is going to spawn the leader of this map, which is a Minotaur. The Minotaur is, like, by itself not that bad, but this particular leader has some AoE skills where he shoots a purple orb that can break your armor and deal some ridiculous damage, or a green poison ball, which again deals ridiculous damage. So for me, as a spell weaver, I like to put my guardian here first before I go click on it, so that's the first thing that gets his first few attacks, so that when I come back, because I have to walk backwards to get to him, I don't immediately get hit in the face with either the purple or the green orb. Okay, so that finishes map 1. So you go into map 2 and you'll have, was it 5 or 6 question marks? 6 question marks, and unfortunately this time you have to click all of them, so not like the last map, you can't skip, you know, 2/3 of it. On this map, you're going to start off by seeing a lot of Zorlobs and these little jab axes. I find the jab axes are particularly annoying. Like, they're not super threatening if you stun them or kill them right away, but they're annoying. The Zorlobs, on the other hand, you might find the jump difficult to deal with if you're not used to it, but here's a tip. When the Zorlob is winding up and getting ready to jump, they've actually already landed. Sadly, that's how the programming on this thing works. So they've already landed, so just aim at the spot where you were standing, you know, like half a second ago, and you're going to hit their landing spot. That's the trick to killing them. So you can pretty much kill them in midair before they've even actually landed, depending on how much damage you have. But you see here, I was standing right about here, so I just keep aiming that spot, and boom, the Zorlob is dead as soon as it lands. So Zorlobs are pretty annoying. They do deal quite a bit of damage, and they jump on you. The snake people are probably the most threatening just because they have the stuns. So, you know, you either want to stun them back or at least get rid of them right away. And then as you progress further on, you'll see other monsters. You saw the Minotaur back there. For me, Minotaurs are like a new monster, but they're not really that threatening. So I don't really know what to make of them. I tend to put them as low priority because they have one very long range attack. That's true. But you can see it coming a mile away, and it's always in a straight line. So you just have to step to the side and it'll totally miss you. And there's also a few Ender Magic birthing monsters as you go further in. Unless, of course, you're very lucky. It is possible to have a run and not see a single Ender Magic birthing monster. I've actually had that happen before. I was pretty surprised by that. Sadly, there aren't too many jump points in this second map. There is one that's very handy, and I will show it to you guys. But otherwise, you're pretty much stuck running through more or less the entire map. Here's the Ender Magic birthing monster, by the way. Which, now that I've backed myself into the corner, maybe I do need to kill it. Or maybe not. Okay, we'll skip that. Usually I just ignore whatever I don't need to kill because it takes a lot of time. Excuse me. I apologize as well if the sound is a little bit strange. I moved to a new place and also tinkered with some of my settings, so I'm assuming things will sound a little bit different than in the past. I know the past complaint with my videos have always been, I can't hear your voice, you're too quiet. And I'm like, well, I don't know how to fix that, so hopefully this time it works out a little bit better, but we'll see. So let me know if you can hear me better or not. Okay, so now we can head for the jump point now that we've gotten everything else except for one. So right around here, if you aim your cursor upwards at the right spot, you can jump up. Usually takes me a few tries because I'm not very good at remembering where exactly I have to aim it, but it will work sooner or later. Don't stand in the meteor. They will spawn some more monsters and they do hurt quite a bit if you do. Your options are when you approach an Ender Magic birthing monster, either stun it or kill it right away. So that's one of two things. It's one of those do not mind control because you're going to screw up your entire team because everybody's going to spend all of their high damage attacks on the Ender Magic birthing monster, so if you mind control it, trust me, you will not get invited next time to the party. Okay, Zorlob and jump incoming. The only unfortunate thing about the Zorlob and the way their jump mechanic works is that because they're right in front of you, if you mind control, they're most likely going to be mind controlled when they land. So a little bit annoying because I usually want to kill them kind of fast, and now suddenly my first target is mind controlled. It's not game breaking, but it's annoying. And I mean, rangers in particular will probably be very familiar with that issue because the ranger jump, sorry, what is it called? Dive, I think? Yes, the dive it works exactly the same way, where it's like you press the button and you immediately have landed, in quotation marks, at the spot, but you haven't actually landed, at least wise not in terms of your actual animation. So because of that, now you're kind of stuck. Somebody could stun you and so on and so forth, or you could be hit by an attack that is aimed at where you land. Okay, so here we go. We're going in for Medusa herself. Now, going into Medusa, if you're not familiar with her skills and you are not good at remembering what exactly to do, I have one piece of advice. If you see a circle, don't stand in it. So, what do I mean by circles? I mean, okay, so I'm going to have to just kind of sneak around here and see if I can not wake her up. You see this big circle here that's right in front of me? That's a circle. Don't stand in that. You see this little circle now over here that's bordering these other circles. Don't stand on these little circles. And it will depend a little bit on the particular level that you're playing Medusa at, which will determine what skill variations she has. But these bigger circles right here will spawn these sort of Ender magic circles, and there will be monsters coming out of that. And then these little ones over here are going to spawn little poison circles, which I believe applies a debuff to you if you stand in it. So don't stand in it. So that's why I said if you can't remember anything else, don't stand in the circles. Now, in terms of her other skills, Medusa can summon a lot of things. So I already mentioned that she can summon Ender magic monsters from the bigger circles. She can summon a jellyfish, which shoots missiles at you and slows you down. So the jellyfish itself doesn't hurt that much. It's the slowing effect that is crippling. So don't, you really want to prioritize killing that jellyfish just because of that. She also can summon a few friends right off the start. So if you know the mythology, Medusa had 2 sisters, I believe. So I believe that's what they're mirroring here. Medusa herself plus 2 sisters. So they will spawn right at the very start. And the first thing that they also do is aim a stun at you. So, either get out of the way or stun them back or kill them right away. You kind of got a few options there. The other thing that Medusa does that I find most people will die to is not her basic arrows. Like you can kind of see that one coming, and it's in a straight line, just move to the side. Okay, that's easy. The one that people miss most often is the snake. So there's actually a big wind up. Like it looks to me like a curvy sort of glowing wind up skill, and then she shoots a snake, and that snake is a homing missile. So whoever she aims it at is going to get hit unless something or someone is in front of you and body blocks that particular attack. So a good thing to do if you're a spell waver is put your guardian in front of your face, even if you don't have taunt on it, just because it will block the snake for you. So if you see your guardian suddenly die, it probably took a snake for you while you weren't looking. And of course the last thing that she has that I can remember anyways is this head attack where she shoots a stone head that follows you around, and if you get hit by it, you get turned into stone or stunned for quite a long time. So if you haven't figured it out already, you want something to remove a stun in here in case you do mess up, and chances are you probably will if it's your first time. Okay, so there's her 2 sisters, and they always aim a stun at you, so yada yada, kill them. Okay, so I'm standing on top of a circle, so I want to move a little bit to the left so I'm not on top of the circle anymore. Okay, so there's their jellyfish. That's her buddy. Kill that. And the jellyfish will explode. There's her summons. There was the arrow. So I'm just going to run around so I can show you a few other skills. There we go. That's a big wind up, and then you see 2 snakes following you. So you can leave something like a guardian. It'll body block the actual thing for you, but it does a lot of damage, so chances are your guardian will die. Now that wind up, so 2 snakes. You can just keep running. They will eventually expire. It just takes a while. Okay. And there's her head. So the head that follows you, you want to make sure you get out of that. You don't want to get stunned. So it looks like this time she doesn't have the skill where she converts every single one of these little circles on the ground to poison, which is nice. I mean, it makes it a whole lot easier in terms of running around. So I think I can start killing her now, so seeing everything. Oh no, she does. Look at that. So if you stand in them, you start taking damage, and you can go ahead and read all the various, debuffs if you have time, but for me, I'm gonna die if I stand in them, so I'm just gonna get out. And there you go. So, oh, there's one last snake, don't forget about that. And then you can go ahead and purchase whatever amulet you need once you're actually done killing. So that's all there is to Medusa. Best of luck, and enjoy.